Hey, this is Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and welcome to my intermediate Unity5 tutorial series. So let me go ahead and set up my clock here. Okay, so we are continuing back with our game concept of the Alamo prison. So let's go ahead, or Zombie Alamo, or whatever you want to call it. So let's go ahead and continue. So I have my scripts open here. And we're going to add a couple more game mechanics into our game. One being that when we get contacted by the zombie, we want it to take damage on us, and obviously not on the zombies, take damage on us if his collider hits my collider. And I want to also add another game mechanic that will spawn multiple zombies and have waves. So if I kill a zombie, it'll kill all the zombies. Well, not kill all the zombies, but if I kill all the zombies, for example, first at spawn, he spawns like 5 of them. I kill all 5. It'll respawn 6 next time, or add 1 or add 2 or whatever you want to do. So let's go ahead and get on to that. So what we're going to start out with here is I need to add to my character controller here. I need to add that colliding functionality. Sorry about that, cat. I need to add the colliding functionality with the zombie so that we get the desired functionality. That if it also, since if we hit the zombie twice, it'll kill us. I mean, if we hit the zombie twice, it'll kill the zombie, and if it hits us twice, it will kill us. So let's go ahead and add that new method. So that's public void on collision enter 2D, and that is collision 2D of type collision 2D call. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and minimize this for right now. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to say, we need to add another variable here. So this is going to be public int life is equal to 2. So this is going to start out with an integer of 2. And then we're going to say if call.gameObject.tag equals zombie. Then what we're going to do is we know it's a zombie and we know that its collider hit us. So we are going to take damage from this particular zombie. We're going to say life minus minus. So we're going to deprecate his life. And later on we're going to be changing the health HUD and whatnot. So another thing that I figured out that I'm going to add is when I was developing up to this point of the game, I noticed that like he stayed next to the zombie, and he could actually stay next to the zombie indefinitely because their two colliders never like got away from each other. So what I'm gonna do is okay, so what you see here is basically when it hits a zombie, it pushes my character back in the minus direction. So it's actually going to bump my character backwards in that direction. So stock, what do I have bump as? 1. So into the right direction is positive, so we want him to go positive. And I probably messed around with this to get it to work correctly. But yeah, so basically if my character, if we go back, oopsies. If my character is up against this guy, he could actually stay up against this collider indefinitely until he moves to the right or left. So if you notice, if I play the game here, for some reason, all my compilers on this computer are extremely slow. I don't know what the deal is. So you'll notice that he'll contact me, and he'll just keep pressing against me like that. And he's moving me because we both have rigid bodies and we both have linear force drag. So you could go like this forever until I go like this and he hits me again, then I die. So basically what it's going to do is, if I could show that, when he hits me, it's just going to bump like that. It's going to look like that. So it's just going to bump me just a little bit to get our colliders to not be pressing together. And then so when I go back, I'm going to my zombie, and I'm going to add tag zombie. That's perfect, because it's already added from when I contact it with the axe. Okay, so let's take a look and check out the bump variable. As you can see, not enough. Later. So what does his character move? It's 2. So I'm not pressing anything. See that bump? So if it bumps me, it will take away a life. So basically, now the last thing I need to add is inside update, I'm going to say if life. So I'm actually just going to add that in here in the collider. And at the very end here, I'm going to say if, because I don't want it to keep going through the loop, because it doesn't really need to check the loop in the update. In my other file here, I have it as, in my main file, I have it as in the update, but the update is going to continuously look through when we know that it has to go in here for it to actually kill the guy. So let's go ahead and build a solution on that, and we're gonna do this. It doesn't really change much. I'm just gonna build solution just to save it. Alright, so now if it hits us twice, we should die. You should see. Okay, so it's not enough. Okay. And then that is like instantaneous death. So what we needed to do is we need to actually like give our character like a second chance almost. Like that. That was perfect. So I know it's like a little unconventional, but like let's say that your character's hurt. So that's pretty realistic. So that's exactly what I want, is it to close that distance. And if you watch again closely, you'll notice that I'm not moving at all. I'm not even touching the keyboard. And that I will die rather than just being stuck infinitely against the collider. Because now if we remember the number 10, and you'll notice that if I change this back to 0 and I hit this button, what it'll actually do is I'll just continuously be stuck on his collider forever. So basically, once I touch his collider, it decremented my life, but my life does not decrement after this until I disengage from the collider. So I could prove this by hitting the arrow, and then he kills me. So you need this bump right here to get him to get off, you know, to disengage the collider so you could actually collide with it again. Okay. So that guy is here, and that is a character rigid.add force, new vector 2, 2D, and it's just that bump variable multiplied by time delta time, so that makes it generic throughout all devices, equal in all devices, and we want it just as a push, an impulse, just adding an impulse of acceleration to our character. Okay. Well, it's technically force, which is mass times acceleration, so it is acceleration. Okay, next part, what we're going to do is we're going to actually add the game controller so we can control these zombies. So let's go ahead and create a new C# script, and then this is going to be called game controller. Now, in the game controller, what we are going to have, reload. What do I have? character controller. Sorry, game controller. All right. Okay, so we have this guy. We are not going to need the start method, of course. We never really use it much. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of public variables. We're going to have the round number, and this will link to a HUD, so we'll build a nice little HUD. And here I'm using static in this one because I was calling methods, which we're going to go into in a later tutorial. We're just going to get this basic stuff done here. Whoops. Which one do you new count? Zombie left and round count equals 5. Okay. So basically what's happening here, and also next I have what's basically a vector 3 starting point equals new vector 3. I mean, you don't technically need to do this, but so basically to figure out this value, we're just going to take our zombie and we're going to move him back until we want him there, and then we're just going to grab his position. And then we're going to grab his Y position. And then of course his Z position 0. Okay. So basically what that is that's a spawn point on the map that I want all the zombies to spawn at. So every single zombie that I instantiate will go there, or initiate, whatever you call it, will be at that point that I select, which is this point right here. Okay. So what we're going to do is, now that we have a zombies in round is going to start at 5, so it's going to create 5 zombies. And then the new count is basically that plus the number that you want to add to it. And I noticed that I'm missing a couple things. I forgot this one here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, and I'll explain it as I move forward. And then also, I notice I'm going to need a public transform zombie. Okay. Zombie starting point. AT quadr neon. Okay, so let's keep going, and I'll explain it at the end. Instant plus plus. Say if zombie left in round count equals 0, then what he'll do is round plus plus. Oh, I don't want that one for right now. Okay. All right. So basically, what's going to happen here is that the game controller is going to instantiate a number of zombies in the round, and it will clock down as you kill the zombies. And once you finish the round, it will I'll show you the issue right now, which we'll fix. But it will add in another round of zombies plus whatever you wanted to add. So you'll notice here, okay, so let's go ahead and go through this. So basically I have a little variable here, instant or instantiate, that basically says what zombie I'm instantiating on. So here I'm going to start out at 0. You can start out as 1 if you want. You would have to change some of the numbers around. So after every zombie that I create, that I instantiate onto the level, that number will go up until it's at my zombie in round count, my current zombie in round count. And then once that happens, it will go to the next loop, and it'll basically say that once the zombies in round is equal to 0, increment the round number to round 2 or round 3 or whatever, add +2 to the new count, and then set the instantiate back to 0, because I need to instantiate back all the zombies, as now I have 0 zombies on the map. And then set the zombie round count back to the new count that I just incremented to. And then zombie left in round count is equal to zombie in round count. So basically this guy, basically sets this equal to this. I mean, I could just use the same thing. Well, as of right now, this works. I could change it to use one variable, but right now this works correctly. Okay, now we have one issue. So how are we going to know when a zombie is killed when we have two different scripts here? So you'll notice that if I were to attach this to the game, it would kill 5 zombies and then not do anything. I can show you that right now. Perfect. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is just go to main camera, and I'm going to add that script. Game controller. Alright. So the game controller, also, another thing, we're going to need to create what is, like we did in the last, I'm pretty sure we did it in the last series, which is a prefab. So basically what that means is that I want a copy of this particular zombie with this particular size, with this particular scripts automatically added to it. This particular box collider, this particular rigid body, this particular script attached to it every single time. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a prefab, and this prefab is basically going to contain our zombie inside the prefab, and it will instantiate it every time. Just make copies of it, so we can make copies of this guy. This guy will be a copy rather than one in the scene. It will just make copies, and then we are able to go from there and just copy it multiple times. But anytime that we want to change it, we need to drag it into our scene, change it in the scene, then drag it back, recopy it into the prefab. So pretty easy to create that prefab. Just go ahead and drop a zombie in there. Now we have a zombie prefab. You drag it out, same exact identical zombie with the box collider, the rigid body, and the zombie script all attached into one package. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and get rid of this guy here, and we are going to be good to go. So after I have the main camera attached there, I'm going to drag my zombie prefab into the zombie transform there. Make round 1, zombies in round 5, new round count 5, zombies in round count 5, and here you see the starting point. Now if I start, you'll notice, boom, there's 5 zombies. They instantiate at the same point. Since they all have rigid bodies, they just kind of space out. So eventually there will be, in the full game, there will be faster, different like zombies themselves. So like some will be faster than others, so that's how they'll kind of space out, and they'll kind of go behind each other or in front of each other. So yeah, but these are the zombies in the line. As far as this game, I'll probably just have them move faster, but still be in a line. So it's going to add some difficulty. Okay. Alright, so you notice that they didn't reinstantiate themselves. Sorry that I didn't bring that to your attention. Let me go ahead and kill these guys. You notice that they're super slow. So every round they're going to speed up. So I'm just clicking as fast as I can to kill them. Okay, you notice no zombies come back. The reason being is that it does not know that those zombies are being killed. So we're actually going to go into our first kind of more general programming term. That's called a static method and a static variable. So what is a static method and a static variable? So a static method would be something like this plus 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 to float this thing, update. You know, basically what that means is that I don't have to create an object, which we haven't really done much of it because I rarely see in these smaller games, rarely see an opportunity to use it effectively without adding more complication. Is to be able to call a method and it needs to be static. So, and static means that you could call this method through any of your pages. So basically what this means is that if I made a method static and an integer static, I could refer to that variable from any one of my programs here. So I could jump back and forth and interface with different variables. So basically what I want to do in my character controller is I want to interface with the zombie count. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Okay, so I want to interface with the zombie count. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the variables that I'm going to use as far as being static, that I want to be static, that I'm going to interface with, I'm going to turn those into static public ints instead of just public ints. That way I could refer to that variable through any program. Alright. And then I'm going to create my own method that is also static, called zombie death. And in zombie death, I'm going to actually I'm going to just decrement. I'm going to decrement how many zombies are in the round. So now that I have this available, oh, I missed one being static. Oh, this one. This one's supposed to be static. Sorry about that. So they're both supposed to be static since I'm referencing them both statically. Okay. So that's basically it for that. Now what I need to do is I need to add in I need to call that method from one of my various programs here. Let me see. I think yeah, so I called it in my other one here, I called it from the zombie class. So when my zombie gets killed by the axe, if it's equals 0, it'll basically set your guy to false, but right before we're going to go into game controller. So we're going to reference to that script over here, game controller, and we're going to tell them that we want to call zombie death. So if these were not static, it would have to be game controller Steven equals new game controller. Right, something like that. If I would controller, if I would spell that correctly. And then I would have to say Steven dot blah blah blah, Steven dot zombie death, and that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to change it everywhere, not just in that instance. Because this particular game that you're playing is an instance. And also each of the zombies is an instance, so this is the best way to do it here, is just make it static. If you're going to call it static, there you go. Okay, and I'll let you know if I ever find a use for using objects, maybe in my next game. I'll find some use of objects, or maybe later in this game when I'm doing like zombie types or something. Okay, zombie death. Okay, so that's perfect. So after we have that guy, zombie death, that's correct. I need to compile both. Okay, well, that's already up to date. I added that in there. I don't understand. Oh, I guess it is. I hit build all, right? Okay, I hit build solution, so it's gonna build all. Okay. So now we go into game. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're hitting 1 dies, 2 die, 3 die. Whoa, my guy's getting low in stamina. 4 die, and 5 die. And there we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's added 2. So you could also add a public variable where you could change that in game with your testing about how many you want to increase. If you wanted to do a function with x being your rounds and how many, so like for example this round would be 1, and then in 5 rounds it's 2, and 3 rounds it's 6. If you want them to be the same speed, but in my case I'll probably just go 2 each round, keep that constant, and I will increase their movement speed. Alright, so that is going to be it for this video. This is adding to our game mechanic. We have the basic game mechanic now. It could be an entire game. It would just keep going on and on and on and on and on forever, and then you could just save the round count, and it'll work perfectly. So at this point, it's basically a game. All you need to do is finish the art, add in the Alamo and stuff like that, which I have in the other file there, and I need to finish a couple more spots of it. But as of right now, this game is a fully functioning game. So you could theoretically release this for free. It's good to go because you have continually forever. It's going to just keep incrementing rounds perfectly forever. And you have a death for your character, so an ending, the death of your character, which is the ending generally in this particular game. Once your character dies, that's it, you're done. And something, and a mechanic that is compelling, you want to get a higher level score, so you're going for that. And that is basically a game right there. So of course we're going to continue on. We're going to flesh this game out to where it's pretty much ready to push out to a market, to an app market. So we're going to add quite a bit more stuff and add difficulty. So as it ramps up, in addition to the 2 that it adds every time, the zombies are going to increase speed. We're also going to add a couple weapons to the game as well, and we're going to add that coming soon. Alright, so this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more videos like it in this series and other series as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Take it easy.